Have you ever looked at your cat while it was quietly resting nearby and wondered what it was really feeling? Not whether they had enough food or fresh water, but whether they truly felt safe, whether they believed they were loved. Cats rarely announce their emotions the way dogs do. They don't jump with excitement or demand constant attention. Instead, they whisper their feelings through tiny moments that are easy to miss. And sometimes, those quiet moments reveal something far more meaningful than loud displays ever could. Many people spend years living with a cat without realizing that the greatest signs of happiness aren't dramatic at all. They're hidden in the way a cat looks at you from across the room, the way they greet you after you've been gone for only a few minutes, or even the place they choose to fall asleep. These small choices aren't random. They're little pieces of trust, offered only when a cat believes the world around them is safe. Imagine walking through your front door after a long, exhausting day. Before you've even put your bag down, you notice a familiar face watching you. Your cat isn't rushing wildly across the room, yet something about the way they stand tells you everything. Their body looks relaxed. Their movements aren't hurried. They simply seem happy that you're home. It feels ordinary, but for a cat, it's actually a remarkable thing. They don't waste energy pretending. Every movement has meaning. One of the first places that meaning appears is in their eyes. People often say the eyes are the window to the soul, and with cats, that couldn't be more true. A frightened cat keeps their eyes wide, alert, always prepared for danger. But a cat who feels completely comfortable does something different. They let the tension disappear. Their eyelids become soft, almost sleepy, as if they have nothing to fear in that moment. Sometimes you'll catch your cat staring at you from across the room. At first you might think they're simply watching. Then, almost magically, their eyes slowly close before opening again. It happens so gently that many people barely notice it. Yet that tiny gesture carries enormous meaning. Your cat is telling you they don't see you as a threat. They trust you enough to let their guard down, even if only for a second. The beautiful part is that this silent conversation goes both ways. If you soften your own expression and slowly blink back, many cats understand exactly what you're saying. There are no words, no treats, no toys involved. Just two living beings quietly exchanging trust. It's one of the rare moments where love doesn't need language to exist. Of course, those peaceful eyes are only part of the story. The moment you arrive home, another clue often appears before your cat even reaches you. Watch their tail carefully. Most people think a wagging tail always means happiness because that's true for dogs. Cats speak an entirely different language. When a relaxed cat notices someone they care about, their tail often rises high into the air with the very tip gently curved forward. It almost looks like a question mark reaching toward the ceiling. This isn't just a random position. It's an invitation. It's your cat saying, "I'm comfortable with you. I'm glad you're here." That simple greeting becomes even more meaningful when it's followed by a slow walk in your direction. Maybe they brush against your leg. Maybe they weave around your feet or let out a tiny chirp that sounds almost too soft to hear. None of these actions happen because they need food every single time. Sometimes they're simply choosing you. Out of everything in their world, they're deciding that spending a moment beside you feels worthwhile. These greetings only happen consistently when a cat feels secure in their environment. An anxious cat often keeps their body low, their movements cautious, constantly checking for danger. But a cat who believes their home is peaceful has no reason to hide. They can greet you openly because experience has taught them that your arrival brings comfort instead of uncertainty. That feeling of safety doesn't disappear once the greeting is over. In fact, it follows them into one of the most vulnerable moments of their entire day. And the way your cat chooses to sleep may reveal more about their happiness than almost anything else they do. Sleep is one of the few moments when every living creature becomes completely honest. There's no pretending, no hiding, and no effort to stay in control. For a cat, falling into a deep sleep is an act of trust. In the wild, sleeping too heavily could mean failing to notice danger until it's too late. Even thousands of years later, that instinct hasn't completely disappeared. That's why the way your cat sleeps can quietly reveal just how safe they feel in your home. Take a moment to watch them during one of their afternoon naps. Are they curled up tightly with every muscle ready to spring awake? Or have they stretched out across the floor, completely relaxed as though nothing in the world could possibly disturb them? The difference is enormous. A cat who lets their body go limp isn't simply tired. They're showing that they believe the place they're resting is safe enough to lower every defense they've ever relied on. Some cats even roll onto their side or expose part of their belly while they sleep. It's a sight that melts almost every owner's heart. That soft, fluffy belly looks like an invitation for a cuddle, but that's not always what your cat intends. The exposed belly isn't necessarily asking to be touched. Instead, it's a quiet display of confidence. Your cat is saying they don't expect anything bad to happen while they're at their most vulnerable. Respecting that trust often means letting them enjoy their peaceful nap without interrupting it. The place they choose to sleep can be just as meaningful as the position they sleep in. Think about all the places available inside your home. A warm windowsill, a quiet chair, a hidden corner under the bed. Yet many cats repeatedly choose the couch beside you, the blanket that carries your scent, or the foot of your bed. It's rarely an accident. They're choosing the place where they feel the greatest sense of comfort, and more often than not, that comfort is connected to you. Then there's another detail that causes countless owners to worry for no reason at all. As your cat strolls across the room, you might notice a loose flap beneath their belly gently swaying from side to side. Many people immediately assume they've been feeding their cat too much. They start cutting back on meals or worrying that their companion has become overweight. But that little swing isn't always a warning sign. Every cat has its own unique body shape, just as every person does. Some naturally carry a loose fold of skin beneath their belly throughout their lives. It's completely normal, even in cats that are healthy, active, and perfectly fit. Judging your cat's health by that single feature can lead to unnecessary concern. Instead, look at the bigger picture. Does your cat move comfortably? Do they leap onto furniture with confidence? Can you notice a gentle shape around their waist without seeing sharp bones? Those everyday observations paint a much clearer picture than one tiny detail ever could. The same peaceful confidence appears when it's time to eat. Think about how your cat approaches their food bowl. A relaxed cat usually walks over without hesitation, settles down, and begins eating at an easy pace. There's no frantic rushing, no constant looking over their shoulder, and no feeling that someone might suddenly take their meal away. They eat because they know another meal will come. That quiet confidence says more than a completely empty bowl ever could. Healthy routines often look surprisingly ordinary. Your cat shows interest when it's mealtime, enjoys their food, takes a few drinks throughout the day, and then simply carries on with life. They don't obsess over every meal because they don't have to. Their world feels predictable, and that sense of security allows them to relax instead of constantly worrying about what comes next. Once those basic needs are met, something wonderful begins to happen. The serious hunter hidden inside every cat slowly transforms into a playful child again. Out of nowhere, they crouch behind a chair, wiggle their back end with complete focus, and suddenly launch across the room after a toy that isn't even trying to escape. A crumpled piece of paper becomes priceless treasure. A feather turns into the greatest challenge of the day. Watching them play reminds you that happiness isn't always quiet. Sometimes it bursts into life through unexpected energy. And when a grown cat still finds joy in chasing, pouncing, and exploring with endless curiosity, they're revealing something deeply reassuring. A cat that truly feels safe doesn't just survive inside your home. They feel free enough to enjoy every single day. That playful spirit is one of the clearest signs that both their body and their heart are exactly where they want to be. As joyful as those playful moments are, there's another sign of trust that's even easier to overlook because it isn't something you see first. It's something you hear. Every cat has a unique voice, but the sounds they choose to make around you can reveal an extraordinary bond. Think about those quiet little greetings that happen throughout the day. Maybe it's a tiny chirp when you enter the room, a soft meow as they stretch after a nap, a gentle trill while they weave between your legs. These aren't random noises filling the silence. They're your cat's way of starting a conversation. Unlike many animals, cats often save these gentle vocal moments for the humans they know best. They've learned that you respond, that you'll look at them, speak to them, or simply acknowledge their presence. Over time, those little exchanges become part of your relationship, almost like a private language that only the two of you truly understand. Then, of course, there's the sound everyone recognizes instantly, the comforting rumble of a purr. Few things feel more peaceful than a cat curling up beside you while that soft vibration fills the room. In moments like these, it's easy to feel that everything is exactly as it should be. A relaxed body, slow breathing, peaceful eyes, and a steady purr often come together to create one of the clearest pictures of contentment you'll ever witness. But what makes these moments so special isn't simply the sound itself. It's the choice behind it. Your cat didn't have to climb beside you. They didn't have to settle against your leg or rest their head near your hand. They chose to. Trust is never forced. It grows quietly through hundreds of ordinary days filled with kindness, patience, and consistency. Perhaps the most beautiful sign of all appears in something so ordinary that many owners never recognize its importance. Watch your cat throughout an average day. They'll wander into another room, inspect a window, climb onto a shelf, disappear for a while, and continue exploring their own little world. Then, without any obvious reason, they'll return. Maybe they hop onto the sofa beside you. Maybe they brush against your ankle before walking away again. Sometimes they simply sit nearby, doing absolutely nothing except sharing the same space. At first glance, it doesn't seem remarkable. But if you think about it, those repeated returns tell an incredible story. Your cat isn't staying close because they have no other options. They have an entire home to explore. Countless comfortable places to rest. Endless little adventures waiting around every corner. Yet they continue choosing to come back to you. That decision speaks louder than constant attention ever could. Real trust isn't about never leaving someone's side. It's about feeling confident enough to leave, knowing you'll always want to come back. Cats understand this naturally. They don't measure love by how tightly they cling. They measure it by how safe they feel returning again and again. You might notice them quietly checking on you while you're reading, working, or watching television. They appear in the doorway for only a moment before walking away again. Later they return to curl up nearby without asking for anything at all. These gentle check-ins are their way of reminding themselves that everything is still okay. You're still there. Home is still safe. Over time, these tiny moments create a much bigger picture. The peaceful eyes, the relaxed greetings, the comfortable naps, the playful bursts of energy, the quiet conversations, and those endless little returns all connect like pieces of a puzzle. Alone, each one seems small. Together, they tell the story of a cat whose heart has found a place where it can finally rest. The most comforting part is that being a wonderful cat owner isn't about buying the most expensive toys, the fanciest beds, or the newest gadgets. Those things can be nice, but they aren't what your cat remembers most. What matters is creating a home where they never have to wonder if they're safe, where kindness is predictable, and where love is shown through patience every single day. Your cat may never say the words, "Thank you for taking care of me." They don't need to. Every slow blink, every peaceful nap beside you, every playful chase across the living room, and every quiet return after wandering away is already saying exactly that. And once you learn to notice these silent messages, you'll realize your cat has been telling you how much they trust you all along.